you feeling, Jason?
Well, his days are losing everything.
Your mind? You lost that a long ago when you decided to come back and work here again. We're giving the vehicle some prep. This one's actually had some bits and pieces done not that long ago. So we're just banging on a new cambout just to be on the safe side. The rotors are ugly, so it's getting some other ones. And of course we're going to fit the new wiring loom, the Spitronics wiring loom, and the correct trigger wheel. 36 minus 1. Very, very important.
Yeah, cool.
New wheel for you.
Good. There's the cam timing.
How's the cam timing? Couple light. She's bang on. Excellent. All that is leaving, so we're going to do some body wiring on this one as well, because it is a bush truck. It's only going to be off-road. So Jason is also going to remove both cam sensors because they're not needed, and this whole wiring loom that went down the front, that's leaving, so there'll be none of the original wiring loom left on this vehicle. Whilst it's covered in mud, it's going to be covered in even more mud when we're finished, because we're taking this four-wheel driving. Makes a change from me having to do those sorts of jobs. Hey, quit it. Jason's making a slight modification to the trigger loom in there. He's got a front on it. It's got the right sensors in it there. And he's left a whole lot of stuff out of this one that just, it wasn't needed. Knock sensors. Nope, don't need them. Well, that's the front crank loom. We talked about that. Cam sensors. No, don't need them. This one is for the water temp gauge. It's got an aftermarket water temp gauge, and it's got an aftermarket oil pressure gauge as well. So we'll work on getting those in, but I'd like the dash. I would like the dash on this to have the oil light, or the pressure gauge, and the water temp on the gauge working as well. We'll see how we get on with that. There's issues with the oil pressure sender unit, but we'll overcome that as we get further into it. Injectors have been out. There's new seals on them because they're always hard as rocks, which they were, and the intake manifolds had a bit of a clean over, ready to be fitted again. I hadn't planned those hoses being there. I think you'd probably go under them myself. Do you want me to give you a hand there, feeding it through? It's looking really good with the intake manifold on.
Cool, yeah.
Just take a little bit more out. Get your grinder out, take a bit more out. Make it work. I didn't have a square grommet. I can't fit a square grommet if I don't have one. Every time. New management, new water temp sensor. And we just don't have problems. A bit loud. That was a bit loud. little bit fluffy now, it's warming up. That, it has got an exhaust leak as well. It's one of the reasons it got an aftermarket, because the factory one would have had a spasm with these exhaust leaks. That's pretty good.
I like the igniters, they're quite useful.
Well, with the bird's nest is coming out. All that's coming out.
And the bird's nest.
And the bird's nest. Great thing about mechanical gauges, in this situation, we can still see what's going on. Nothing on the dash is wide yet. ECU isn't mounted yet, because there's a lot more work to go yet. You have to find a one-way valve for that booster, because apparently they need a one-way valve, unlike this one, because it didn't have one. And I'll find the proper bit of pipe for the breather, find a nice piece of pipe for that, hose for that. It was late. Oh, you've got the breather for that. You've got the piece of pipe for that.
I need to heat it up or lubricate it or something. Wet joint.
Your hose is too small.
Yeah, for that.
Right, yeah, too small a hose. I know the feeling.
Well, it's not private.
The actual puddle of water on the ground of this one does concern me a bit. Especially when I'm putting ECUs around that area. I think the answer is to drill a hole.
Or mount the ECU high.
Well, I'm going to mount the ECU up under here somewhere. I just haven't, but of course the water's coming in and I want to put the heater vent in it. It's ended up a lot longer than I expected, so that's not so bad. It gives us plenty of room to put it up in here. Okay, so if I fire this up, it'd actually just about fit in there, wouldn't it? In that stereo. This wire, and I power it up. Fuel pump primes. I pulled out a bit much cold start, but that's not a bad start, eh? That's not bad at all. Cold oil pressure. Oh, what do we got? 85 psi. First start of the day, and it sounds pretty bloody good. There's a slight whiff of hydrocarbons, so it's probably got a bit much fuel once it starts, but I did pull the cranking fuel down a bit fast. Squeeze that hose, Jake, squeeze it, come on! Oh yeah, look at that, well done. I don't think you're going to need a hose then. Nah. Cruise control pedal. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
No, hook the throttle cable up. Oh, it is reasonable.
Yeah, the cable's fine. It's a little bit verbally warm, but not bad considering we haven't actually tuned it. We haven't tuned this at all yet, and it actually starts and runs pretty well. We've got a bit more to do, then we're going to go for a test drive. And I might show Jason how to tune it. Just get one of those surfs, get out of the black, hopefully the black surf's got one. Jason's been busy today, and he's been doing some sorting out. He's fixed the accelerator pedal and he tells me he wants to see if it gets full throttle.
No, not quite. Go again.
Not quite?
Go again.
Ah,
Almost.
almost. We might have to give that a bit of a tweak. And he has been running some wires for spotlights, headlight, and the alternator that goes underneath. Somewhere under there's alternator wiring. Used to grommet and up through here for the spotlight on the roof. And it's got a plug inside. So that's a big step forward for today. Jason also gave this a bit of a pull this morning. I think that's probably his normal morning activity. And this all came out and is not going back in. Alternator, this one actually went to an adapter. That was all pulled out. It was all ugly. It came over here to this. That is alternator wiring. Yes. You can see why that came out and didn't go back in. I think there was a Deutsch plug in it.
Can you see that?
Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, what was that for?
No idea. Something to do with, oh, it was something to do with this relay. And so that's where they did the twist and connect over here. So that's on the same circuit as that Deutsch plug.
So I'm guessing the Deutsch plug was probably someone else's doing, well, I guess part of someone else's loom.
Oh, who knows. So problem solved anyway. The basic goal is to get it so the engine bay is finished, starts and it runs, and then we'll discuss with the customer what we want to do in the cabin. I've made it so we can move the battery inside if we need to. So it's nice under the bonnet for the fact that it doesn't spill liquid on you, and that's burny liquid if things go wrong. Or if we put it inside, it's definitely going into a box to try and prevent any issues. Good day's progress. Hopefully pretty soon we can bang some seats in it and go for a bit of a test drive and see how it actually drives. And for those guys that want to know about the tuning side, I'll give Jason a really quick lesson on how to set this ECU up, and we'll see if someone who has got a reasonable tuning knowledge but is certainly not an expert at this point can sit down and run through the software with a few minutes of teaching and set up the tune on it.